In Montroso, I shot this on the way to the beach where the ECU Study Abroad group was already lounging. I made for the breakwater and spent almost an hour lying atop a boulder listening to water splash. Montroso is a pretty town, and I was sorry to hear it was hit hard in the flooding that struck the Cinque Terre region last fall. Much of its charm, of course, comes from the water, if you consider a World War II artillery bunker charming. Our hotel was up this lane. This pretty little church was on that lane to our hotel. St. Francis looks over the bay. Above him yet is an old Franciscan church with chanting in the background. And a Van Dyck crucifixion scene. An eerie churchyard lay outside. Low skies obscured the sunset along a lane where lovers hang locks to prove their love. And rain dogged a hike from Montroso to Vernazza. You can hear the German party I had just passed. I believe I had stood under the waterfall at the end of this stream the day before. The water taxi leaving Vernazza. I love this boat on the way into town. Lemon groves terrace the hillside above Vernazza. The water taxi again. The only connection between towns, except for the train. We stopped in Pisa long enough to see the main attraction, and made Florence by nightfall. The next morning I made straight for the Duomo, to climb up into Brunelleschi's dome. You can see how he solved a stress problem. Some of the construction tools used, the view inside the dome, and out. Among the sights visible from the dome is Santa Croce Church, with its frescoes by Giotto. Adjoining it is a monastery chapel, also designed by Brunelleschi and adorned with della Robbias. I toured the Palazzo Vecchio, too. Enjoyed the Medici view of the dome, and an installation by Damien Hirst that started in this chamber and moved to one with a diamond-encrusted skull in it. Waiting to get into the Uffizi Gallery, we saw a Chinese dignitary get welcomed. Across the Arno, I passed on the Pitti Palace to see some natural history specimens. I collected my own specimens of Florentine street art. These refer to an anti-Berlusconi referendum that Florence resident Chiara Giacchetti kindly explained to my students at a rally.
That is, we all citizens should have the same rights for everything, but there are some exceptions. Yeah, we all.
After the rally, we found a street clown entertaining a crowd. Our last night in Florence found us climbing to an abbey church overlooking the city. The next night, it was dusk in Venice, followed by 2 days of rambling the canals. And touring San Marco. I cut the sound to avoid stealing the tour guide's lecture. That's her. She spoke movingly of how difficult it was to live in her city anymore. One night I visited Harry's bar and had a fabulous time drinking daiquiris and eating heavenly cake. We were staying just across the water. With this great view. There's nothing like the view of the Grand Canal from the Rialto Bridge. In the background, it's just students goofing off. I had a splendid time wandering around with a handful of them that evening. We rode the Vaporetto a lot. Each morning, I ate breakfast at a little family cafe and watched the business of the water-bound city. Including even larger floating transport. The dissident artist Ai Weiwei was still being held by the Chinese government. This was part of the Venice Biennale. As was San Giorgio Maggiore. This was from an Anton Ginsberg installation. Our last evening, we watched a happy couple in San Marco Square.